So what car stereotypes have you found are true about
Almost
FIFA?
all. People have stereotypes for a reason, man. Raptor owners really are like that. Dodge Ram owners really are like that. You know, I find almost all the vintage Porsche guys are the annoying watch obsessed, you know, like they are all the car stereotypes are generally true. I typically
So what stereotypes are there for the Carrera GT owners?
I think that Carrera GT owners are a lot of them, as I have come to learn, but I think the stereotype is out there, is that they're obsessed with keeping the car pristine, never driving it so that the values continue to rise. An enormous portion of these guys don't touch their cars and are like kind of keep it in a bubble type guys. People are, whenever I post a picture of mine anywhere, people are like, I can't believe you're driving it. And it's like, that's a car. And also, you know, it is really the greatest driver's car ever built. And so there's this stereotype that like, it's a hard car to control and to own. And so the type of people who would actually drive one, they must know what they're doing. You know, I don't feel that way. I feel the car is actually pretty easy to drive, but.
And what about Ferrari owners?
I mean, you know, Ferrari owners have the stereotype of all the Ferrari gear and bragging to everybody that they have a Ferrari and all that. And I generally find that often is the case. Like those guys are really proud that they have a Ferrari. And sometimes it's like, okay.
Do you know how to tell someone has a Ferrari?
Yeah, they'll tell you.
They'll tell you. Yeah.
100% of the time. Like really, really out there. It's actually funny. I think about this a lot. Until I got the Countach, my car collection was a Carrera GT, a Ford GT, and a convertible G-Wagon. And to a sort of car enthusiast, none of those cars sound cool. Carrera GT, oh, my uncle has a Carrera, right? They don't, you know,
Right.
Ford GT, oh, you got a Mustang, right? Convertible G-Wagon, oh, G-Wagon, yeah, okay, oh, yeah, it's an old one with a soft top, and it's like, no, you don't understand. And now that I have the Lambo, that everybody knows that car. But I always kind of found it funny that like to the casual observer, I was just kind of a loser. Whereas some guy who spent 40 grand on a used Ferrari can go brag that he's got a Ferrari, and everybody's like, oh. Yeah.
What car would you least like to drive for 1 year straight?
A lot of very compromised exotic cars. Big cars too are really hard to drive, like giant trucks. I reviewed a Ford F650 one time, which is actually a thing. And I mean, stuff like that is just hard. You can't park and you can't get into any building, any garage, anything like that. But also Countach, as much as I love it, like when I park it at the end of a long day of driving it, I'm like, I'm good. And I don't take it out for 2 weeks.
What car would you least like to be seen driving?
Oh, that's a good one. Hummer H2.
Really?
Yeah, those are pretty.
2004
These days though, Hummer H2s are kind of starting to become cool again, actually.
Really?
I don't know. There's nothing that I am a wide adopter of like all manners cars. I've had Korean, British, German, American, and Japanese. I've had it all. I don't really have a lot of like, so you see me in a car that has a bad rep, whatever. I'm cool with it.
What do you think are the most overrated cars?
I mean, the one I'm most known for, I really think the Lexus LFA is overrated. I think that car is way more valuable than it should be. I don't think those cars kind of suck. I think honestly, a lot of the Koenigsegg Pagani type cars are kind of overrated. A lot of the new cars that are made to be special just for rich guys, I find to be really kind of gross and just not cool. Like there's a new Countach. Like, but it was just an Aventador rebody. Yeah. That's not a special car. The old Countach was a special, unusual, crazy thing. I find a lot of those like special editions just to make rich guys feel like they got one and so they're special are really overrated cars. And I think the market will realize that. There's a lot of those cars. They are valuable now. I don't think they're going to be valuable in 20 years.
But before we go into that, one of my favorite things about running this podcast is getting to talk with so many different experts of so many different walks of life, and I feel like I can really level up. And if you're like me and you want to do the same, I highly recommend you check out our sponsor, Masterclass.
With Masterclass, you could learn from the best to become your best. Masterclass is the only streaming platform where you could learn and grow with over 200 of the world's best. For just $10 a month, an annual membership to Masterclass gets you unlimited access to every single instructor. And you could access Masterclass from your phone, computer, smart TV, or even in audio mode. For instance, you could learn key communication skills with FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss, turn your wildest dreams into successful businesses with Richard Branson, or even take your basketball shot to the next level with Steph Curry.
A class that I found super interesting was Matthew Walker's on the science of sleep. As someone who's always had a really bad relationship with sleep, this one tip he provided really stuck out to me, which is if you're either having trouble falling asleep or you woke up in the middle of the night and you can't fall back to sleep, after 25 to 30 30 minutes, just get up and move to a different room with dim lighting, turn on a podcast or read a book, do something that calms you down, because laying awake in your bed is just going to associate your mind with its wakefulness, and it will make you very irritated, which happens to me all of the time, and it will keep you up.
All in all, classes really make a difference because 88% of their members say that masterclasses made a positive difference in their lives.
And right now, our listeners get an additional 15% off any annual membership at masterclass.com/iced. Once again, guys, that is 15% off at masterclass.com/ICED. That's masterclass.com/iced.
Thank you again to Masterclass for sponsoring today's episode. And now with that said, let's get back to the podcast.